So I want to quickly take you through another change to how Netflix is charging you for its services. A few months ago, we had the clampdown on sharing your subscription. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then today, we've also got the removal for pretty much most customers, new and existing, of the basic plan, which at $6.99, I always felt represented the best value for money for most people. So let's go back to basics, shall we? What is the basic plan that is no more? This was, as I said, costing you $6.99 a month. And this was the plan, as the name suggests, that just kind of got you the functional Netflix, the essence of it. You could stream only on one device at any time, which meant it wasn't very good for sharing, because if you wanted to watch something and the person you were sharing with wanted to watch something, then you'd get booted out. So it was not very good for that. And also the picture quality was always a little bit lower than elsewhere. In terms of high definition, it was still HD, but it was 720, which is lower than the full HD, which we're used to of 1080, and obviously lower still than 4K, which was the next level above that. But despite those problems, not being a great one for sharing and not having the full picture quality, at $6.99, it has been the cheapest one. It obviously used to be less than that. We've had the price hikes over the years. It generally was the one which I felt, you know what, that is the best value for money for most people. And in fact, it became even better value for money when Netflix did introduce this extra member scheme back in May of 2023. And we'll come back to that in a minute. So that was it. Netflix Basics, no more. If you're a new customer signing up for the first time, you will not be shown this option. And if you're an existing customer, you will not be able to swap onto that. If you're already paying for Netflix Basics, well, you'll keep that. And you'll keep that until you change your subscription to a different package or you cancel. I'll come back to whether you should actually, if you've got that option to stick with it or not. It might sound like a good option, lots of logic there, but there might be some things to consider if you want to do that. But anyway, that is gone. Bad news, really. So what is left? Well, let's go over to the Netflix website. Okay, this is what you will see if you now want to either sign up for the first time or change your plan. There are 3 tiers. There is a fourth option, which we'll come back to. So there is a cheaper option, less than $6.99 at $4.99, the standard with adverts. This in some ways is better than the basic plan because you get that full 1080 HD, plus you'll get 2 simultaneous streams at once. So you are getting more for £2 less. But as the name suggests, it also comes with adverts, which will play the beginning and during the programs you're watching. Personally, I am not a fan of ads. I've always tried and avoid them as much as I can. And I'd be willing to have paid previously an extra £2 every single month to go up to that basic tier just to avoid those ads. In fact, this used to be basic with adverts and they moved it to standard with adverts just a few months ago. That one has a few other restrictions here or there. You might not be able to get the full catalogue. There might be some programs which aren't available on this tier. But broadly speaking, that is now the cheapest option out there that you can just sign up for whenever you want, but you get ads. The next one up is standard. And in fact, I think a lot of you are probably going to be on standard over basic anyway, because standard is the one that did allow you, before the crackdown on sharing, which we'll come back to have more than one at the same time, more than one stream at the same time. So it's a very good one, whether you're in your own household or with mates, that as long as there's not more than 2 of you trying to watch at the same time, then you can do that. And you get multiple profiles and all that stuff. You get that 1080 HD picture quality at $10.99. So it used to be cheaper. Price increases over the years have increased it in price. I imagine most of you are going to be there. That one hasn't changed in price. And obviously this, I think, is where Netflix are really pushing us to go to this particular tier. There's one after that called Premium. As the name suggests, you get more for it, but you pay for it as well. This one is 4K, ultra high definition. I personally don't feel that there's enough quality difference on most of the things that we're watching on most of our TVs to really justify paying $15.99 a month. You might disagree. You might say, no way, I really can tell the difference. And you're willing to do that for the programs you're watching. Remember, a lot of the back catalogue, that is not going to be even in old HD, let alone 4K. So you can do that. You also get 4 simultaneous streams. Now, again, with this crackdown on sharing, it makes it very, very difficult, I imagine, for most people to take advantage of that. You'd have to have a household, whether it's a family where everyone is a big Netflix fan and they're all watching things at the same time in different rooms and different devices. Or maybe you're in a student household or living with mates or something like that. And again, you're splitting it between you and you're sharing the cash. Now that can make it a lot cheaper. If 4 of you as individuals are all paying for that, then it makes it one of the cheapest options out there. But for most people, I think the one where you probably have been, it would have been basic or standard. Now, these aren't the only 3 options available to you right now. There is another one, and this is the extra member tier which was, it's not a separate tier, it's an add-on really, which was introduced back in May of this year. And this is part of that way that Netflix is trying to stop people just logging in with someone else's details onto Netflix so they don't have to pay themselves. They don't want that. They want to get as much money as they possibly can from us as individual subscribers. The way Extra Members works is someone who has standard or premium, it does not work with standard with adverts, just standard or premium, the higher paying packages. And it didn't work with basic before. So just those two packages, you can add on an extra member. Now, if you have a standard package, you can add on one extra member. If you have the premium one, you can add on 2 extra members. Each extra member costs $4.99. So that is in addition to those prices you're already paying. Now, if you are someone who previously was sharing your subscription with mates or with family members outside of your household, because this is the way it's all locked down to your location now. If you're someone who did that previously and they contributed to your pay, your subscription, then they may well have, if you want to carry on doing that, you've got extra money you've got to pay on top for them to get their own extra membership. This is effectively the same benefits as the underlying tier. So if you've got standard and you add an extra member, they will have 1080 HD. If they've got extra member 1 or 2 extra members added to the premium one, then it is at that 4K level. But the big difference is it's almost like a basic account that's been tacked on to one of those additional tiers. You can only stream on one device at any time and download to one device. So you cannot, if you are someone who previously has shared, if you get like an extra membership added on to someone else's standard or premium, well, you can only have that as an individual. It's not going to work if you want to share that with more than one person in a household. You also will be restricted to just one profile. Now, I think the profile is broadly, unless you've got kids, and incidentally, you cannot have a kid's profile as your single profile on as an extra member. Unless you've got kids, what really does the algorithm do? I mean, most of the time you look at it, it makes no sense based on what I've watched, the things it recommends. So I'm not so fussed about that if it's being shared amongst adults. It just means that you've got a single profile and a single device at any time as an extra member at $4.99. So where we are there, they're your options, right? So we've got, recap, you have got standard with adverts at $4.99. You've got standard at $10.99. You have got premium at $15.99. And you've also got potentially an extra member add-on to one of those upper 2 packages. So now you know the prices, now you know the options that are available. Now that basic has been scrapped, what should you go for? Which one represents the best value for money? Well, hopefully I think you'll probably agree with me that for the vast majority of cases, we can just sort of say goodbye to the premium package. I don't think many people need to be on this, particularly now you can't share it directly with anyone and split the costs unless you are in the same household. Most people, they do not need to have 4 simultaneous streams, and most people think can go without 4K. So let's park that. It might be one for you. You might be willing to pay more for that, but I think that is very expensive. It makes it one of the most expensive streaming packages out there, even more so than all the other ones, Disney, Amazon. You could combine a couple of them probably and save some money versus having that premium package of Netflix. So then that leaves the other 3. At the cheaper end, obviously that would suggest to make sense where we're looking at value for money, right? So we've got the standard with ads at $4.99, and we've got extra member with ads at $4.99 as well. I personally hate adverts. And in the past, if I was going to have Netflix, I'd have been willing to pay an extra £2 to go to basic just so I don't have to put up with adverts interrupting the program. That's a £2 difference. Now that difference from $4.99 to standard at $10.99 is £6. That is a lot just for 1 month. Obviously, if you kept Netflix for the entire year, then we're going up to even more money there. Look at 72 quid difference just to avoid some adverts. I don't think that is reasonable. So if you're someone who is happy to have adverts and doesn't want to pay all the extra in order to get the same features as you would with standard with adverts as standard, then great, knock yourself out. Personally though, I still can't do that. I really do hate adverts. So I would be looking instead at the extra member option as probably the leading one to go for here. The problem with this is you have to find someone who is already paying for standard or premium, who is willing or able to add you on as an extra member. The cost of that goes on their bill. They will be paying for that. So the other guarantee that you will be paying them and contributing towards that. They may also say, look, well, do you know what? I'm still paying this full whack here just so you can get this cheaper membership. Would you be willing to contribute towards the rest of it? Maybe split the whole thing in 2. So $10.99 plus $4.99, whack it down the middle. So obviously that increased the costs as well. And then you're kind of getting closer towards that normal standard price at $10.99 and some of the extra benefits that come from having your own account and being completely in control of that. The big difference, obviously, is that the extra member thing, you can only stream on one device at any time. Now, for a lot of people, that's not a problem. If you watch stuff together at the same time, that isn't going to be an issue. But if there are more of you in the household, that could be a sticking point. But still, obviously, that is going to be the leading one. But I think, this is not brain science here. Netflix know this. They know that a lot of people will say, I'm not going to pay $4.99 for adverts. I don't want adverts. And they know a lot of people are going to go, well, it's a bit too complicated to have this extra member thing because I'm relying on that person over there and that, and again, you're limited, only one extra member on a standard account, only two on a premium account. So really what they're doing here is they're pushing more and more and more of us, if we're going to pay for Netflix, to that standard option at $10.99. They know what they're doing. They want more people to pay $10.99 every single month. Hence, getting rid of that $6.99 option and making the $4.99 options less appealing. But they say, look, we have got cheaper options if you want them. They're just kind of, you're missing out or they're harder to get or whatever it might be. And what I will say, though, obviously, whichever one you do go for out of those different options, I would really encourage you not to stick with having your subscription for the entire 12 months. I say this all the time with all the streaming services. There is no way you can properly get value for money when you've got more than one streaming service, particularly if you factor in things like iPlayer, ITVX, whatever Channel 4's online. It's called Channel 4 now, the online version they've got as well. There's a lot of free content on there that you can watch. So really, I would say, if you've got Netflix, use it, and have it as the only paid streaming service you've got until you've run out of programs that you want to watch. Then cancel it and move on to another one, to Disney, to Amazon, to Paramount, whatever it might be. Do the same and keep repeating. I have got another video right here, which I'll link to up top, which are my rules to save money on streaming. So that'll give you some more on that and other tips to help you cut the cost of those bills. But finally, I want to talk about what happens if you are already on basic. Because as I said at the top, that will continue. If you're paying for basic right now, that is your tier and they are not going to kick you off anytime soon. They've said this will continue until you change your membership or you cancel. Now, you might be tempted to stick with that, paying $6.99 and not cancel. Keep that locked in so you have got that lower price, ultimately saving you money over all the other options. But feedback into what I just said right now, there's no way to take advantage of more than one streaming service throughout a year. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to be watching just Netflix. You will be trying different shows on different platforms at different times. And at $6.99 versus $10.99 for the next level up, you'd have to be paying for Netflix for 10 months of the year at $10.99 for it to cost more than a whole year at $6.99. So if you can cut your Netflix use down to 8 months, 6 months, 4 months, whatever it is, but paying the higher price, it will save you money. So I think you're better off axing your Netflix subscription, whatever you're paying when you're not watching it, and then paying whatever's available to you when you then do want to watch something, than just sticking in at this low price. My name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these videos right here for more ways to save money on your streaming.